meant, and I use the term loosely. These are the shocks we took apart yesterday. Ran them out to the tube sander this morning, a little bit ago. Cleaned them up. We're going to paint these. These shocks are kind of interesting. They're automobile shock absorbers. Harley probably won't admit that, but they are. And you'll notice there, Gabriel of Canada. Up on the top, they got a Harley number, 5454767. So these were used on 67 and later. Underneath there, you got another number, 615138. That might be a Gabriel number. And down on the bottom here, you got a number, T3JD. Rear. Where else would it go? But I got to think these are automobile shock absorbers. You know, Harley probably called up Gabriel and said, hey, we need some crappy shocks for our bikes here. What do you got? You know, we got about a 500-pound motorcycle. We're going to put a fat guy and a fat chick on it. So the whole thing might weigh, I don't know, 1,000 pounds. What do you got? And they went through their catalog and they said, well, how we got these here meant for a Volkswagen or something. Small car. And they said that'll work. So Harley bought a couple. Here's the other interesting part. Harley adjusters wouldn't fit over the end of the shock. Wouldn't go through the loop on the end. So they ground off the corners here, and it's just enough room now for the parts that make up the shock to slide over the hoops on the end. And you could tell by the burr that Harley left on there which way the grinding wheel was turning. So, you know, they probably get a truckload of these from Gabriel and probably had, you know, some kind of fixture set up, and they just stuck them in there and, you know, ground the corners off. I know somewhere there must be a cross-reference catalog of these old parts that'll tell me what car or truck this fits. And, you know, back in the olden days, shocks were $12 for a standard, you know, automotive general duty shock absorber. They were cheap. Somewhere there's an auto parts store that's got a bunch of these bastards sitting on a shelf that could be had for cheap. I'd love to find that. I did a little perusing on the internet, and Gabriel is still in business. These numbers that are on here don't cross to anything. And, you know, I don't know whether it's worth giving Gabriel a call. They got a tech number, and asking somebody to dig in their archives and tell me what the equivalent automotive shock is. And, you know, hell, I'm sure they're not $12 anymore, but on the other hand, they're probably not a set of $400 progressives either. But yeah, anyway, we're going to paint these, make them pretty again. And I got that one that was a little rusted here on one of the shafts. I'm going to use them until it's leaking so bad I can't stand it anymore. Got the portable stoves flat on the wall spray booth over here. Kind of, sort of keeps paint from getting all over the shop. But one of the rules for painting is all the bikes have to be covered because this shit gets everywhere. Anyway, hopefully by the time I'm done powder coating, the paint on these shocks will be dry. Well, I'm fixing to talk about powder coating. You may ask yourself, then what is this picture of the snake doing over here? Well, let me tell you. My powder coat booth was leaning up against the wall here, and when I went out to set it up to do some powder coating, I flipped it up, and this little bastard was laying there behind it. Scared the living shit out of me. Holy shit, scared the hell out of me. Well, the lizard and I got along pretty well. Me and the snake, not so much. The snake, unfortunately for the snake, did not survive this encounter. Now, I know a bunch of you are going to tell me, oh, that's a harmless thing. Well, harmless and snake don't belong in the same sentence, in my opinion. But anyway, yeah, the snake is no longer with us. Oh, well. So here's the powder coat setup. Nothing more than a plywood box. It's got holes cut in the side. I had originally made it a solid box, but it was because I wanted to contain the powder. But the solid box made it hard to see. So I opened up the big holes in it so I could see the parts easier, let more light in. You know, of course, the powder goes everywhere. The back was solid. I cut the back out of it. And over here, that is the power supply, and this is Eastwood stuff. And it's getting kind of old. I've used the hell out of it over the years. And the spray gun. And this is the same size. The box is the same size rectangularly as the oven racks. So I slide an oven rack in there, spray the stuff, and then stick it in the oven. I got a batch of stuff preheating, and we'll probably throw that in there and spray it within the next minute or two. Coming through, hot stuff. Okay, this stuff has been preheated to 400 degrees, so the powder will hit it and melt and flow out, and then we'll throw it back in the oven to cure it. And of course, by this time, everything has been, ground down, sanded down, washed in soap and water, wiped down with acetone. I'm going to turn the rack around so I can get a look at the other side. Well, I think that'll do it. Yeah, about 10 minutes in the oven, and that should take care of it. Okay, powder coat baking oven. Got it at a used appliance store. Had it quite a long time now. I don't know, at least 15 years, 20 years probably. Used appliance store, maybe $50. Got it home, cleaned it all out, replaced the insulation, scraped 50 years of cooking crud out of it, and hey, it works good for my purposes. For those of you who may ask, what makes me think these are any good? We're fully extended. You hit your bump and your rebound. Really, these are nice. The reassembly is almost idiot proof. That's all the way on. You got your adjusters. There's a cutout that fits around that lower collar. The other adjuster probably wouldn't hurt to put a little grease on these. Cover goes on next. Big washer. Big old spring. Big old washer goes inside the top cover. Then you take the whole mess, yeah, and there you go. Not perfect by a long shot, but far better than they were. And I know that both of the shocks are actually good now. So these will work. And I think that'll do it for today. You know, when you're rebuilding something, it's always good that there's fewer parts on the table than when you started. So we got the shocks back together again. Here's my powder coat effort for today. Not perfect by a long shot, but pretty good. I'm happy with that. I boogered these up. I had to redo them. My coating was a little light in this area in here, and I just sprayed a little on and reheated it, and it flowed right in, so that looks good. Kickstart shaft looks fantastic. The right hand peg mount looks good, and the dust and the dust shield, the bearing dust shield for the top roller bearing on the neck, that looks good too. So happy with that. And with that, I am out of here. That's it for today. We'll work on it some more tomorrow, probably. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good rest of your day. Bye. Men, if you like this channel and this content, the single most important thing you could do to help grow this channel is to hit the subscribe button. I also have new design coffee cups and stickers available. You know, I like the old coffee cups, but I like these new ones even more. Links are included in the description down below. And for those of you who really want to go the extra mile, you could join me on Patreon. Link is also included in the description down below. And to all of you who have watched these videos, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Bye.